right, Mr. Lee, Miss Lee, whoever would like to take the lead. Why was this case filed? What's the reason for the eviction?
I just recently retired, and we're wanting to be by ourselves in our retirement years.
Okay, did you give a notice of termination of the lease to the tenants?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long, what kind of notice of termination did you give them?
We put flyers out on like the 15th of April.
What kind of lease do you have with the defendants?
We don't have a lease.
Okay, how did they come? Do they reside on property that you own?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of property are they residing on?
It's a home.
Is it a single family home?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you live in the same home with them?
Yes.
So you're sharing a home together?
Yes.
No.
Huh? No.
They've been there. Travis had a heart attack, and they've been there since that happened.
Since that happened, yeah.
Okay, do y'all live in the same house?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You all live together in the same home?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And have you ever had a written lease?
No. They don't pay.
Have the defendants ever been asked or required to pay rent?
No.
No.
Have they ever been asked or required to pay utilities?
No.
Did you give them a written notice telling them that you wanted them to move out?
Yes.
When did you give them that notice?
The 15th of April.
In that notice, did you tell them how long they had to move out? Like a number of days or times?
Yes.
How long did you give them?
Like 4 or 5 days. I think it said the 18th. Or 3 days, I'm sorry.
Okay. And did they move out after the 3 days?
No.
Did you then come and file an eviction?
I'm sorry.
Did you then come to court and file this eviction?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, looks like you filed with us April 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
And are the defendants still residing in the property?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Fowler, Mrs. Fowler.
Good afternoon.
Let me just ask you one question at a time, and then I will let you have a full response, but this kind of clears up for me any disputes of facts, okay? So here's my first question. Is it correct that there is no formal written lease between the parties?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Is it also true that y'all all four live in the same residence?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is it true that there's never been a requirement for y'all to pay rent or utilities?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Did they give you a notice on April 15th that said they'd like you to leave after 3 more days?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And have you moved out?
We're trying. My husband had another heart attack, and he's got congestive heart failure. Another heart attack in February.
We've got a storage. We had to go get a storage because got quite a bit of stuff here in the shed outside.
Right.
And we've been getting it out of the property.
Okay.
And also, I turned 62. They took me off SSI and put me on Social Security, and they're holding back a month. Money.
Okay, yeah. So he won't get his first check for retirement until June 3rd.
Okay. All right.
And we Sarah from the Housing Authority is trying to put us up there on top of the list to get housing.
Okay. I'll give you some information then. Contact that person who's assisting you with trying to find housing and let them know about the hearing today. So I'll give you both a bit of information, okay? Because your situation is a little bit different than the others that we've heard and falls just a little bit to the side of kind of a standard eviction that we get. So I'll give you all the lay of the land, and that way everyone understands where we're at. All right. So in Texas, it's not necessary that parties have a written lease to establish a lease. But one of the preeminent parts of that is whether or not money is owed or due. And here, there's no dispute. Parties agree that for many years, y'all have comfortably resided together and there's been no exchange or requirement of money. Indeed, it might have been done, but there was no required duty to pay an ongoing monthly rent or utilities. Which means that for our tenants, you are really guests of the defendants or for the plaintiffs for it. And as a tenanted severance, the landlord needed to give you that 3-day notice to end that tenancy, which has been acknowledged they did. And then Mr. Fowler, Ms. Fowler, it sounds like maybe an impossibility or some prevention, with time, effort, you've got a lot of items. You have not been able to remove yourselves from the property yet. But Mr. and Ms. Lee have successfully moved forward with their eviction. And so today it's a judgment for the plaintiffs for possession, right? There's no money awarded because there's never been any agreement between the parties about money. Now, Mr. and Ms. Lee, you are awarded the money it cost you to file the case. So that's about $130. So that's the only amount of money that is owed, if you would, Mr. and Ms. Fowler, to the plaintiffs. What's more important is the possession portion. Now, you absolutely, as I've said to everyone today, parties have at least 5 days beginning tomorrow to seek an appeal. And Mr. and Ms. Fowler, you cannot be removed from the unit for at least that 5 days because that time has to pass. And then Mr. and Ms. Lee, you have to seek a writ of possession if you need your property back and they have not already vacated. And I'll highlight again, that's the soonest you can seek it. Nothing says you can't wait longer. In fact, Mr. and Ms. Lee, by law, you have up to 60 days. And then with good cause, you could even ask me to give you up to 90 days. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just letting parties know that that is the general timeline of it, right? So landlord can come to me at any point up to day 60 and say, I need a writ of possession. And if they come to me on day 60, say, Judge, can you give me 30 more days? They've got, veterans associations can help them move next week. And I just want to make sure they leave. I could, for good cause, extend it. That's as far as I can go. Otherwise, the whole thing has to begin again. All right. Now, either of you can appeal. Because this is not a money case, and appealing is a little bit different. I have to determine an appeal bond. And so I would set the appeal bond at $500. And I'm coming up with that number as a small amount. I think it's still reasonable to give parties some security. And I'm basing that on the state law that says we must apply some minimum level of rent each month, even if parties did not require rent to be paid. So Mr. and Ms. Fowler, though you never agreed and Mr. and Ms. Lee never asked you to pay rent, state law says I have to impose a minimum amount of $250. And that's that if you appealed, that's the amount of money you would have to pay to secure the property going forward. All right. So I'm just using that number and I doubled it to make the amount of the bond. So again, there's no monetary award here except for possession and cost of court. But when you look at the judgment, it will say there's an appeal bond of $500 and a monetary rent of $250. And that is per statute, not because parties actually agreed to pay any amount of rent. Okay.
Okay.
We had, ma'am,
Yeah. Yes. Miss Lee, can I answer any questions?
we had already came to court also,
Okay.
and it never fell through, so.
Well, the process wasn't done right or something.
Okay. Hey, it sounds like everyone's done it correctly this time. So
Yes.
All right. All right then. Ms. Fowler can answer any questions. Otherwise, I really wish the best to all 4 of you. You're all excused.
Got 5 days to leave.
You have at least 5 days, sir. And you can, again, if you appeal, that may extend it. If you talk to Mr. and Miss Lee and y'all come to some,
I don't know what you're
Mr. and Miss Lee, my point is that if you wanted to allow them, say 10 days to move, you could still then come to me on day 11 and say, they haven't left. I want my writ of possession now, right? You have up to 60 days to do it.
Yes,
Oh,
I
Soon as you can do
understand
it.
that.
Does that make sense? I'm just trying to say that Mr. and Miss Fowler, you have at least 5 more days. Mr. and Miss Lee may give you a little bit longer. And if they're worried about that harming their situation, I'm just saying you have absolutely until day 60, no questions asked to get your writ of possession. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good luck to everyone. All parties are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.